to the Diamond Chronicles, true tales of trade, trust, and betrayal in what Colin refers to as the world's second oldest industry.
You know, and I was talking to a marketing person yesterday. That was a very good introduction.
Oh, thank you.
You stole my introduction, though.
I did. He was
right?
looking at me with angry eyes.
You know how my ego is with this sort of thing, right? But, you know, it was funny because I was talking about that introduction yesterday with a marketing person who wanted to talk to me about not our podcast, but our newsletters and how she could help us dress them up a little bit more. And she talked about the fact that the second oldest industry in the world and how cute she thought that was and how interesting. And
you are cute, Colin.
I am cute. This is very, very true. But here's the thing. The whole thing about the second oldest industry in the world is whatever he paid that profession with was something that was pretty and sparkled, I'm guessing. I mean, in those days, I'm sure there was no currency to speak of. Mm-hmm. And so, you know, that's where that line sort of comes from.
So how are you doing today, Colin?
I'm good, Judy. I got up early. I rode the bike for an hour on level 15 after doing a late night yin and yoga class. You know how I am with the working out and all that sort of thing. So what about you? On another date last night? Or
not last night. I'm taking a break.
Okay. Should we be talking about this with the amount of guys you date? Like, I hope none of them think anything special. Like, should I just go to defense for you right here?
Yeah.
I mean, Judy is a beautiful, young, intelligent, capable woman with a number of suitors. And I just, you know, I feel sorry for them all.
Hey.
Sorry about that, but...
Well, let's talk about you then.
There's nothing to say where I'm concerned.
Anyways, guys, why don't we get started on today's topic?
And what's today's topic?
Today's topic is we are going to be discussing lab-grown diamonds versus mined.
Right, and an article came out this morning discussing lab-grown diamonds versus mined, and we took that as, no, they didn't call it mined, they called it natural. And I like to draw the distinction because when you have something, whether it's made 3 billion years ago near the center of the earth, or it's today, it made in a laboratory, aren't they both kind of natural? I mean, understand, these are identical things. No one in the world can look at these and tell the difference, which is a compelling case for it's all natural, isn't it?
Right. I mean, they're chemically the same. It's all carbon, right?
It's all pure carbon. Mm-hmm. And, you know, in a ring, and we're going to talk about this a little bit, what the paradigm of ownership, I guess. So anyway, to give you a little bit of background, 50 years ago, General Electric and De Beers started developing lab-created diamonds, and the reason they developed them, they never ever anticipated, well, as far as we know, they never anticipated that they were going to be anything ever used in jewelry. And I say as far as we know because we really don't know what we know, and we're going to talk about some of those facts today. But the people, listeners may or may not understand that in the diamond industry, only about 20% of it, or even less, is for jewelry. The majority of it is industrial diamonds. Mm-hmm. And of course, if you can make cheap industrial diamonds rather than get them out of mines for a fraction of the cost, I mean, and this is where the whole business of lab-created diamonds started. And this is 50 years ago. Mm-hmm. And then 15 years ago, and we talk about this movie a lot that's coming out. What's it called again?
Nothing Lasts Forever.
Nothing Lasts Forever. And it seems like it's never, ever coming out. They had right?
They had the premiere so long ago, and we've been trying to find this online for the longest time.
Didn't we even contact the guy who produced it, Cohen? I mean, he's a very credible... Anyway, we've tried to get you guys copies. We're unsuccessful so far. So if any of you hear of it, please send us some information. By the way, why don't we talk, before we move too far ahead, about the correction that we got last week. because apparently, now we haven't had a chance to research this, but we want to acknowledge it. We got an email, and by the way, thanks for the text and the emails and the contact through our website and every other way you guys are contacting us with questions. We love getting them. But this one was about concentrated wealth. And then in the video of the newsletter this week, I said it the wrong way. So for clarity's sake, what we've been told, and we haven't verified, is this. Go, Judy.
So we had an email from a Robert saying that uranium is actually smaller, and it's the most concentrated form of wealth.
On Earth.
On Earth, yes.
So.
Whereas we said, what was it?
So I don't think uranium. I said plutonium.
You said plutonium. There you go.
In the moment, okay. So uranium apparently is smaller and more valuable. We're going to verify this for you. But it doesn't qualify in other ways, like the stealth wealth advantage of having diamonds as an investment, where you can put them in your pockets. I don't think anybody's sticking uranium in their pockets and crossing borders. But Robert, we do appreciate the feedback.
Yes,
and once we have confirmed, we've made some inquiries, but it's hard to tell the real cost. And by the way, we don't want to be like Sheldon Cooper on The Big Bang Theory and have, national security show up at the door because we're trying to get prices for uranium, okay? So back to our lab-grown versus mined. We're not going to call them natural. We're going to call them mined. And, you were quoting me some statistics this morning. And so look, what we're trying to do here, we're not going to say one's better than the other.
Right.
Grew up in an industry, and if you'd asked me 4 years ago if I would ever say that I would ever be in a position to provide one of our clients with a lab-created diamond, I never, ever, ever would have. And I know exactly who it is that got the very first one from me. That was 4 years ago, and I actually got feedback for this podcast from them on exactly what it's like to own a lab-created diamond. So we can talk about that. Do your statistics, Jude.
Yeah, so according to the Environmental Impact Assessment by Frost & Sullivan, the water needed to create lab-grown diamonds is 7 times less than the water needed to excavate mined diamonds. It's a pretty staggering number. So they say that 70 liters per carat is needed for lab-grown versus 480 liters per carat for a mined diamond. Crazy, right?
One of the things that I've attributed to other people that I actually came up with because I didn't want to take responsibility for talking like this, and I think one of the things you're going to see with us is I'm going to very much make my points and just go with it and let this whole thing go, is I am an environmentalist. Okay, I'm the middle of 4 sisters. I'm for women's rights. As far as the environmental impact of mining, here's what my view was and is even more, because in my view, to a certain degree, it's not necessary anymore. I mean, Mother Nature took 3 billion years to make, we can make in labs. The paradigm of ownership, I can assure you of this, is the fact that I talked to this couple who got the first one ever from me, sort of ground zero, diamond zero, lab-created diamond zero, and they said, and this is always the paradigm I talk to our clients about. Look, it's not about buying. It's not about buying a diamond. When you put that diamond engagement ring on, it goes with you wherever you go for the next 10 or 15 or 25 or 50 years, whatever it is that you're together. It's unlike anything else you'll ever buy. There'll be houses and cars and everything else. The diamond engagement ring is an example, and this is the prime area where we've seen an absolute massive growth in lab-created diamonds. 1 in 4 in the United States, apparently. Last year was a lab-created diamond, and that's with a bullet. That's going up quickly.
Yeah.
It's about owning. And so I said to them, with all this news about lab-created diamonds, has anybody, and this is a incredible 3-carat rock, And I said, has anybody ever said, is it a lab-created diamond, or is it real, or anything else? And not once has that ever come up. And I can assure you of this, it won't come up. It's not the paradigm. A diamond's a diamond. You might get asked, the first question everybody gets, or at least 95%, is, what size is it? You know, and if you can say it's a half carat or 1 carat, or, these are the values in ownership. So the buying paradigm is completely different from owning. And so, you know, if my own family came to me today and said, you know, I'm getting engaged, I'm sorry, my recommendation, not sure why I paused in the middle of that word, my recommendation would be lab-created diamond. Right?
Let's talk a little bit more about other reasons, because we talked about the environmental impacts, right? What are some other reasons that, you know, you would pick a lab-grown over mined?
What's the first one that comes to your mind?
I would say cost.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think, and we talk about this as our 4 C's that people should look at when they own a diamond. And cost is a big one, but it's competence. You know, 1939, De Beers and the GIA developed the 4 C's of cut, color, clarity, and carat. Our 4 C's for our clients who are planning to own diamonds are competence, credibility of who you're dealing with. Cost is a big one. I'm sorry. So if you can get a beautiful 1 carat diamond that there is literally no difference in the grade for $12,000 because it came out of a mine, because it came out of a mine. A mind? I seem to be stuck there. I'm stuck in a loop. Because it came out of a mine versus one that came out of a lab, that they're identical in every single way, aren't you going to go with the one that's a third of the price?
Is it a third generally?
It's like, on our prices it is. I mean, at retail it's a different ballgame. But our prices is. You know, I didn't finish my thought there about, and I'm just going to say it. When you guys hear me saying raping Mother Nature for her jewels, I'm sorry, this is a lot of what mining is. Okay, a lot of mining it's pit mining for diamonds. It's open pit. They excavate the earth. They you know, with the exception of the Argyle mine, of which I was one of the first direct distributors in the world, an authorized partner, none of them fill the land back in. And this is one of the things. So, you know, if you're looking at investment in Argyle pink diamonds, there's categories that are worth investing in. The mine is filling the land back in at that mine. So other than that, I mean, you've got to look at the fact that the white diamond business is not the same as the colored diamond business. That's my view of it. Did I answer your question, by the way?
Yeah,
I've been going off on tangents this morning.
He's so excited this morning.
Maybe I shouldn't get up in the morning and ride the bike, right?
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just too hopped up. But anyway.
I don't know how you do cardio for an hour. Like, most people cannot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's like
you're an anomaly. So
it's like I tell people, I can do what 20-year-olds do physically. Mentally, as you can clearly tell, I'm not as strong.
Putting up with me.
Okay.
Okay, so we talked about the cost. We talked about the environmental issues with mine diamonds. What else?
You know, one of the things that concern me is I'll have clients out there now, and I get calls from clients who say, should I be changing my mine diamonds to lab created? And, you know, I talk about the fact in California now where, you know, hasn't been fur coats. I refer to them, the mine diamonds, in some of my chats about this, as if they're going to become the fur coats of the diamond industry. And I really think that's the case.
It's really interesting.
It's so interesting.
Paradigm, yeah.
because they have. Are you going to use that word paradigm anymore today, or is that it? Are we
That
going
was
to hear
my
it
first
once?
time.
I think you used it twice
That
already.
was my first time.
That's
but
my word.
Let's see if you guys are listening in. Let's tally it up.
We're gonna have we're gonna do a count, okay? A paradigm, or maybe
great.
it was me that used it. But in the state of California, people are already denying the fact that they have mined diamonds, and this is an industry. If you don't know, and we're going to talk about the industry of the diamond industry, the background of the diamond industry in another podcast. This is an industry that has blood on its hands. You can look back to the Leonardo movie, Blood Diamonds.
Such a good movie.
Such a good movie, an amazing movie, but it's a factual movie about the industry. And even today, the mine diamond industry has blood on its hands. So, anyway, I don't want to get too much into that because I don't want people freaking out, because that's a very few of the diamonds. Every diamond for our clients we've ever dealt with have been Kimberley processed, which means this is the process put in place by the United Nations to ensure that there are no blood diamonds in the system. And, if you got your engagement ring or anything through me, you got that process document as well. So
you can feel good about your purchase.
Yeah, you can feel good about it. So let's expand a little bit more on some of the things about the lab-grown that have changed since the whole lab-grown situation really started to rear its head. I'm going to say that's about 4 years ago when I did this first engagement ring. And I was reluctant to do it at the time, but boy, was I wrong, right? I'm not always right, Judy. You're going to have to deal with this.
That's not what you told me.
Even though I like to come across like I am. But I was wrong. I never would have imagined or anticipated what would be happening today. Examples of it. The Gemological Institute of America, who everybody knows I'm a huge fan. Well, just a couple of years ago, they were still saying they would never certify a lab-grown diamond. And guess what? They're certifying lab-grown diamonds just from Christmas of last year. What else? Holy smokes. Oh, here's one. And I've grown up in the industry. I've been in the industry for 40 years. Friends of mine who are very traditional Hasidic Jewish guys who would never, ever, if you've ever seen the wonderful musical about the exodus of Jews from Russia, the opening song is tradition. And it's a beautiful religion. My friends are incredible people in the industry who are Jewish. And they're now selling lab-created diamonds. They're charging a little bit too much, but they're selling lab-created diamonds now. You were going to say something, Judy?
I was going to say, what do you think is going to happen with the cost of lab-grown? Because obviously that's kind of the way the industry is going. We have the technology to do so.
If you guys find that Judy's much more confident this week on the call, because I certainly do, she's asking super good questions. So you all know Judy graduated from the Diamonds course this past week at the GIA, from the Gemological Institute of America. And so when you get emails from Judy now, it says, Gemological Institute of America Diamonds.
It's official, guys.
So this is where all this newfound confidence is coming from, I think, because she knows her stuff. And I guess we both learn a lot when we do the podcast. So the GIA are certifying them. You just asked me a question. What
and
was
you
it?
forgot it already?
Yeah, I'm like at my age, I'm lucky I remember anything.
Well, I was just talking about the cost of lab-grown diamonds.
Oh, I think you're going to see initially a drop in the price as they compete, but I think it's going to be very much like the mine diamond industry, where you're going to see pricing, you're going to see things like manufactured scarcity.
Okay.
So that'll become
high demand.
Remember, the biggest player in the industry today that's a super good question, Judy. we review nothing before we sit down here. We live this every day, pardon me. So in terms of where pricing is going to go, remember, the biggest supplier in the world today of mined diamonds is the powerful, legendary, iconic, incredible company started by Cecil Rhodes way back in the late 1800s in South Africa. And if you've ever heard of Rhodes Scholars, all you students out there, that's Cecil who made that scholarship available, the Rhodes Scholarship, which is probably the most famous in the world. That company, De Beers today, who is, by the way, about to open a plant in Oregon that they initially were going to spend $80 million on to produce lab-created diamonds.
Wow.
They are the biggest supplier of lab-created diamonds on the planet as well. So I think we know where pricing is going to go.
Okay.
Right? And, one of the things we're going to start to provide our clients, guys, if you're interested, one of the things we talk about here is, look, we have a fundamental belief, and you'll see it if you go to our Instagram, the Global Diamond Broker. We talk about the fact that whether it's an emotional investment like an engagement ring or a financial investment, the only return on these things is beauty, and that's measurable. We call it defined beauty. We define it for you and tell you. And we also, we talk about our prices compared to other companies, and we're going to start to show a little bit more of that at the website. If you haven't signed up at the website, make sure you do. If you haven't signed up to win the pink Argyle diamond,
what are you doing?
Make sure you do. And we're glad to be here. I think that's what I got for this week, Judy.
Yeah.
You got anything else?
No, I just wanted to quickly mention that we talked about the different views on both lab grown and mined, but ultimately it's your decision what you decide to do with it. We're here to give you the facts and give you the information so that you can make the best informed decision for yourself.
But I think I tipped the hand in the mind side quite a bit.
Yeah.
Right? And I do. Right? And from environmental to price to the fact that they're diamonds. I mean, look, we have clients who, for whatever their personal reasons are, still want diamonds from the ground. And that's perfectly fine with us.
Yep.
We'll still give you the most beautiful at the best
price. Of course.
price.
That's the most important thing.
That's what we've been doing for 4 decades, for God's sake. Judy, it's nice to see you again today. We got to go back to work. It's early in the day here, and we're busy AF.
AF.
Yeah. Listen, have a great weekend, everybody. This won't go out till tomorrow, I guess, by the time we edit. And we're here.
We'll see you next time.
You can reach us at theglobaldiamondbroker.com directly from the website. You can text me personally.
Don't call him.
604-999-8111. I just don't answer phone calls unless it's
urgent.
Well, you, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Pretty much. Or his 2 sons.
Okay, everybody take care.